journey is coming to an end. Wow, what a ride. Very emotional.
Hi, Barbara here again from Travels with Lobo and Barbara to tell you about our final day on the mountain, day 7. This day would see us descend 3,800 feet from Mweka Camp to our final destination at Mweka Gate. Hard to believe we had already made it to the roof of Africa, and we would be back in our hotel at the Bristol Gardens in Moshi tonight. No more worries. We made it to the top of Mount Kilimanjaro. I knew I'd sleep well that night. So how did day 7 go? First, we had to pack up our clothing and backpacks before breakfast so that the porters could tear down the tent, and we were to head down soon after breakfast.
All right, our last morning, we just got up, ready for breakfast.
Yes,
It's another bad hair day.
They've all been bad hair days.
yes, another day.
This is the campsite at Mweka. What's this? Mweka.
Yeah.
Lovely campsite. Took us how many hours to get here? 4?
About 4 hours.
4 hours.
See the mountain? Today it's nice and clear.
There is where we were yesterday morning
No.
at 6:30 in a blinding snowstorm, and today it's clear.
Maybe Mount Meru.
Montemero. Welcome.
And our tent that we slept in for the last time. And our bathroom, which was a godsend.
Best investment ever.
Yes. So, last time the guys are packing up all our gear from our last night in camp. And, very interesting, the garbage from the whole week. This has to be weighed to make sure that nothing is left on the campsites. Thank you, thank you, thank you. See you.
But wait, before heading out, today was a special day because after breakfast we were going to have the tipping ritual that is part and parcel of every Kilimanjaro climb. So what is the tipping ceremony? It is the custom on Mount Kilimanjaro to tip the crew on the completion of your climb. In reality, the ceremony takes place after breakfast of the last day. We had researched the tipping guidelines for guides, cooks, and porters. We also discussed it with Andrew, our head guide, who gave us a guideline that matched what we had found online. Head guides receive about $20 per day or more, assistant guides $15 to $20 per day, cooks $10 to $15 per day, and porters $8 to $10 per day. This was in US funds and payable in cash and totally at our discretion based on the level of service that we felt we received from all the members. Cornelia and I had really struggled over this, trying to figure out the fairest amount to give each man. We did this in Mweka Camp after dinner, but after much deliberation, the final total came to about $900 US, a hefty $450 each. One of the advantages of being in a larger group is that the tip per person is a lot less. As I said, it was payable in cash. That means every person climbing Mount Kilimanjaro has to have a sizable amount of cash, in this case $450 US cash on them. I wore a money belt that was always on me or in my sleeping bag at my feet. On the night of our ascent to the very top, a porter slept in our tent, as thefts are not unheard of, especially given the possibility that cash may be found in the tents. So considering how there are hundreds of climbers on Mount Kilimanjaro at any given time, there is a sizable amount of cash on that mountain as well. I'm sure it was not left in tents while climbers ascend to the summit. Back to the tipping ceremony or ritual. It started off with the whole team singing a song to us called the Jambo Song in Swahili. Andrew had written out the words for us in English and Swahili, and we sang along to the chorus as best we could. I felt emotional while singing, as it was not only a celebration of our accomplishment, but also a final farewell to the mountain and the 12 men.
Nayo kibo, nayo kibo, nayo kibo, nayo kibo, mima mrefu sana. Jambo, jambo bwana, habari gani? Nzuri sana. Wageni, wageni, wakaribishwa wapi? Kilimanjaro, hakuna matata. Alianza Matame, hakuna matata. Wakafika na Shira, hakuna matata. Baranko wakafika, hakuna matata.
We were given a sheet with all the names of the support team, guides, cook, and porters. We then had to write the dollar amount of the tip beside each name and sign the document. The money was then handed over to Andrew, our head guide, and he ensured it was dispersed accordingly to each man. So apart from the tip, what was the cost of the Kilimanjaro climb? In the previous vlog done by Lobo, entitled 4 Reasons Why I Did Not Climb Mount Kilimanjaro, his fourth reason was that it was simply too expensive. But let's have a look at the cost for a 7-day trek of Mount Kilimanjaro along the Machami route to see whether Lobo was right. You be the judge. There is no point in talking about what we actually paid, since our price was somewhat reduced by the fact that we did a safari before and we had booked well in advance. So here's the latest information provided by Bryson Heroes Tours. In a recent email, Bryson from Bryson Heroes Tours writes, "Please stay informed that our new government has implemented new VAT at 18% to the park fees rates that became effective on July 1st, 2016. This is affecting us a lot as the number of tourists visiting here has gone down due to the park fees being expensive. But hopefully the government will realize this and reduce it in the near future." In this sense, the Machami route climb for 7 days, 6 nights, like Barbara and Cornelia did, is now at $1,880 per person in a 2-person group. But if the group is bigger, then the costs will come lower. That's the end of the email. So when the tip is added, it brings the total cost per person to about $2,330 or about $330 per day. So for better or worse, those are the financial numbers. More important than the financial numbers, however, were those of our vital signs. Before every breakfast and supper, Andrew would check our heart rate and blood oxygen level with an oximeter he placed on the tip of our index finger. I recorded some of my readings. The oxygen level ideally is 100%, and mine ranged from a low of 87% at supper time the night before our final ascent to the summit to 96% at supper time at Mweka Camp just before our final night after descending from Uhuru Peak. Heart rate ranged from a high of 81 beats per minute at Barafu Camp at dinner time before the final ascent to 64 beats per minute at dinner time on our final night in Mweka Camp. My normal resting heart rate is 60 beats per minute. It was usually between 67 and 74 from day 2 to day 6. Andrew also asked several questions while taking these readings and noted our answers in a chart. Yes or no to questions about our appetite, headache, nausea, sore throat, do we have diarrhea, or a few others. The final question was always, how do you feel on a scale of 1 to 10? Cornelia and I were consistently a 10 out of 10, except one day when she had a bad headache and I felt very tired. We were both 9s on that occasion. My fears of failing were probably unfounded, but I could not know that. How was the final descent? The final descent was much easier as we were walking in a rainforest and on a rather smooth trail with no rain at all. I stopped to take a few videos and photos But the whole team was quite intent on getting down to Mweka Gate as quickly as possible. And who can blame them, as they could now head back to their families for a few days. Or maybe not. Some of them may be heading back up the mountain sooner.
But we're descending gradually, and it's just a beautiful experience. Kind of cool in the shade, but not cold at all. And you work hard. The legs get a good workout, that's for sure. The quads. And the calves too. Going down, down, down. Listen to the sweet sounds of the forest. Birds. Very much like a Vancouver Island rainforest. Feel right at home here. There's our two guides in front. And there's Cornelia coming with our cook. Some porters coming with their loads. Their heavy loads. Those men work hard. Jumbo.
Hi, Barbara.
Hi.
Practicing to be a porter.
Jumbo.
Arrival at Mweka Gate was a profound moment for us.
It's the last minute before I arrive at the gate, the exit to Mount Kilimanjaro Park. There it is, I see the buses. Our journey is coming to an end. Wow, what a ride. Very emotional.
As for the past 7 days, we had gone from an apprehensive start at Mweka Gate to the pinnacle of joy at Uhuru Peak to a satisfying end at Mweka Gate. All in all, it was a 62-kilometer route that took about 50 hours of trekking. There was just one more daily ritual to do at the end of the day, and that was to sign the daily ledger book. I found it rather amusing that a couple of our porters were peeking over our shoulders early on in the climb to see how old we are. They had raised eyebrows when they saw the numbers. We were on the higher end of the age scale compared to most climbers on the trail, but that did not deter us at all. We proved that the numbers did not detract from ability. As a final comment, it's not over until it is over. But the photos of Cornelia and I standing in front of the Mweka Gate sign indeed did mean that our once-in-a-lifetime climb to the top of Mount Kilimanjaro had been successful in all respects and indeed was over. Thank you. Join me in the next blog, Mount Kilimanjaro, the epilogue for some final reflections from Cornelia and me. See you next week.